My name is Louise Clark, and I specialised in working with crack cocaine since 1991. I studied psychology and then went into the drugs field, and in the UK there was no one really dealing with crack cocaine in this country because drug services were set up for heroin users and they were getting methadone, and it was a methadone reduction program in them days. So when it came to crack, because they didn't really have a drug to substitute it with, so basically people didn't really deal with it, is how I saw it. So I came into the field in 1991, and the crack users came to me by one coming and then going and reporting to the other crack users that I was good and I would do the job properly, and then they all sort of started coming, and then all the media started coming and so forth. And so I spoke at conferences, first conference for women drug users in Birmingham in 1995, first, probably the last. So I spoke there on how to deal with crack cocaine users, women, and I specialised in working with women crack cocaine users, but I did work with men, it didn't really matter, and I do work with other drugs other than crack cocaine. But that's what I specialised in, and I sort of had free reign, which is not really what anyone else has now, or possibly get now, and didn't really in the past. But because I was applying my knowledge and understanding in psychology to the drug, I was allowed sort of free reign to do that. So I was able to look at what worked, what didn't work, and then when all the media come on my case, I was saying I was the expert when I wasn't really an expert. I thought I better become an expert, so I therefore really applied myself to learning it. Now today what I want to deal with is not crack cocaine but with cravings, and it doesn't really matter whether the cravings are for crack cocaine or if your addiction's to heroin or food or anything. It's still going to work on the same sort of principles, and basically it's a little bit of a mind game going on and a physical game if it's a physically addictive drug. So if it's something like heroin to marzipan, there's a physical addiction, so there is a physical side to it, and then there's the mental side. But really with addiction it's more of a mind thing than a physical thing, because as physical people who are addicted to physical things like heroin will tell you it's not really the sort of stopping the use. They can deal with that. It's the cravings, it's the clucking, it's the yearning for after that is causing them the problem. And this is coming from the mind, and the mind is playing big tricks with the users, whatever you're craving for, whatever you're addicted to. And it's sort of like it's like a partner that doesn't really want to let you go, if you get me. So today I want to try and explain some simple ways to deal with cravings, clucking, in terms of addiction. So I divide it into physical and mental. Now when it comes to physical, as I say, there is the physical like dependency, which we won't put that as a craving. We'll put that as a physical thing. So with the physical dependency, then I do promote to use Chinese medicine, and I have a herb that I sell, and they sell it on the internet. They sell it in Chinese herb shops, and it's Zhewi Zhao Yawa, which I will write for you because I probably don't say it too well and the Chinese probably laugh at me, but it does work. It works in calming the body down, it works in detoxing the body, which is what you need if there's a physical addiction, and it works in rebalancing the body. And in Chinese culture, medicine, East philosophy, then it's all about balance. It's about, if there's not balance, then you're going to have problems. Now, if you've got an addiction, really that addiction is sort of possibly your way of creating balance within yourself. So it may be like that you get really depressed and then eat loads of chocolate and then you feel a little bit better, and it's in aid of trying. Most people's addiction is in aid of trying to resolve the imbalance that they're feeling. So when it comes to cravings and that, as I say, I've divided it into two. When it comes to physical cravings, then firstly I would suggest, yes, use the herbs. Whatever the issue may be, I would suggest to use them. But that's not the only way. there's many ways to create balance and calm oneself down. You can use acupuncture, you can use meditation, you can use things that are calming, play some calming music, have a bath, use lavender oil, and there's many videos out there that tell you how you can calm yourself. So the first thing is that you're dealing with things to calm yourself down, and the other side of things is the mental craving. Now the mental craving will be a nagging, will be, and it can come mixed with the physical, but it's like an argument starting in the head. An argument of, oh, I just want one, just want little, just trying to negotiate. Because as I said before, it's like a partner that's not a good partner for you, but you've accessed them in life and then you've stuck with them. It's time for them to go. Time for them to go. They're no good for you. They have to go. So if you try to get rid of a partner that was abusive, then that partner's got a gain in abusing you, and therefore that partner's not going to let go of you that easy. So it's the same with the drug. It's not going to just go, oh, you want to stop, I'll let you stop. It's going to come up with all different ways of getting you to come back, and it's the same like with a partner would do. So it will come slowly, sliver slowly, come from behind, tell you, oh, just a little, or just go round so-and-so's house, when you know if you go round so-and-so you're going to bump into someone who uses, and they're going to give you some for free, and la la la. So you need to avoid all them sort of ways, which you sort of know. So the mental craving, what I want to say is, don't argue. Don't argue with it. It's like, it's not, if you had a partner trying to get you back, then if they keep just nagging, slightly nagging, come in different ways, they're trying to break you down, work you down, and you'll come in. If you answer back and say, well, because of this and because of that, then what will happen is they see it as they've got hooks now, and so then they will use them hooks to pull you back in. So in a sense, you don't want to give any hooks to the mental craving. So it's better to, like with a partner who keeps phoning you, you just put the phone down. Every time they phone, you put the phone down. So it's the same with the drug. It's about telling it, no, go away. Just go away. I'm not arguing. And so don't be tempted to explain your reasoning of why you don't want to have when them cravings are coming. Don't try to explain your position that you're taking, because that is only going to hook you into an argument, and eventually you're going to agree possibly to just have a little bit to calm down the arguing in the head. So the answer is not to argue. Not to argue, just be no, no, no. Now when that happens, you may then get the physical pull, the yearning in your stomach, or wherever the physical comes, and it's about becoming aware of where it's coming from. And when it does come, it's about also associating it with something, because in a sense the brain has separated the whatever you're addicted to is all good, and all the bad sides of it. And the reason you're watching this video is because there's bad sides of that addiction, that you don't want the addiction no more, but you like some of what you're addicted to, but you don't like all. So it's about the brain separates those two out very cunningly, and so when your cravings are there, there's no memory of how it's ruined your life in any way. And therefore what I'm suggesting you do is write down, when you're in a calm state, write down these things of the ways that it's harmful to your life, how it's got in the way of your life, how it's preventing you from achieving in life. Write them things down, and through the use of whatever you've been addicted to, there's been times very likely that's created physical difficulties, even if it's just sorrow and anxiety, anger, strong emotions. Write them down. Now when the craving comes, if it comes in a physical form, then it's about taking the worst situation, the one that was so painful, and it's like showing it. It's like the partner, you show it to them. You say, here you go, do you remember this? Do you remember this? And the thing is, at the time, you may not remember all them reasons why not. Therefore, that's why I'm telling you to write it down prior. And then when that feeling comes, then you can have the one. Now, it's not about listing, oh, well, you did this, because now you're getting into a dialogue. So, no, you just go, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. Because we can sort of forget when we're wanting something that we shouldn't really be having. So it's about not dialoguing and holding and throwing back the memory of what was bad about the situation that you're addicted to, the relationship you had. In addition to this, you're going to have to do a little bit more in life that you may find that if you do like exercise, because if you did exercise for more than 20 minutes, strenuous exercise, you will release dopamine. And a lot of people's addiction is about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurochemical in your brain that is for pleasure. And so a lot of people are seeking pleasure, and therefore a lot of drugs release the dopamine in the brain, and therefore are very pleasurable, or food releases the dopamine. So these things that release the dopamine, now you're withdrawing from dopamine because you're used to having it. So you have to find ways of releasing the dopamine back into your brain. So strenuous exercise is a really good way of releasing the dopamine within 20 minutes of exercise. And you can do that in your home, or you could do that in the street. You can walk. So these things now get you fit, and it also starts getting all the toxins out of the body and so forth. So there's ways to deal with the craving physically of doing the strenuous exercise to release the dopamine in your brain and therefore satisfy the receptors that are used to having high amounts, no doubt, of the chemical. So now it's about you have to provide that to your brain to calm you down, to make you feel happier, because you may feel so low and depressed. So it's about being prepared before you stop, being prepared, knowing what it is that you could do as an activity, as something to do with the boredom, whatever the drug or whatever the addiction comes up with. If you're keeping yourself busy doing other, then you're less likely to lapse and use again. So I'm hoping that that has helped people have an understanding, a bit more understanding of craving and so forth. I just wanted to cover it shortly. I have written books on how to stop using crack cocaine, and I also wrote a book on how to stop using cocaine. As I say, I haven't written on how to stop using heroin, but it would be the same sort of principles. It's just that you would use the herbs, the Zawiya, which are here somewhere. There you go. So there they are. So that's the box. They come in sachets and they come in little bottles with beads. The best ones are the sachets, but the beads are okay. The beads are easier to swallow. These are less easy to swallow, but they're more powerful. But they both do the job. So as I say, it doesn't have to be them, but it's about finding a way to create balance, calm, and well, I wish you well. If you want to visit my websites, I'll put a link below, the higherinsight.co.uk and higherinsight.webs.com. Okay, wish you a happy day. Bye bye.